All right. Looks like the broadcast was deleted on Facebook.
It says we're live right now on StreamYard.
Right.
Bear with us, everyone. We're not sure if we're live or not. We think we might be.
We waited too long on Facebook. Now we're going to save changes.
We are live right now on YouTube.
All right. Looks like Facebook's working now.
Cool.
All right.
Awesome. It's working out.
Hopefully we'll cut out the first 45 seconds and just start right now.
Sure. So we're here to do a State of the Market webinar for the June 1st auction coming up in about 2 weeks, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We've got some things we wanted to go over in general about the state of foreclosure postings in Texas, and maybe show you guys some of our new services such as Rottie Insights. And then Jack's going to answer our top 10 questions that come through all the time about foreclosures, about this entire process, and hopefully give you guys some additional information that you're looking for. Do I have the ability to share my screen?
Yes. Let me allow that. Let's see. Here we go. And share screen. I know I can share my screen. You don't have those buttons below?
Got it.
Oh, you do? Okay.
All right. It should be sharing now.
There we go.
Excellent. So I just wanted to show people really quickly an easy way to see our posting counts across the state. If you're wondering where the state of foreclosure postings are, things have been very crazy during COVID, right? Numbers are climbing again, though. You can go to our statistics page on the website, click this menu bar, resources, and then right to statistics. That brings you to here. I'm going to click on that. And you can see that we have a total of 1,537 postings across the state. That's down 18 from last month, so we're about right on par with the May auction. And May had a ton of sales, especially in places like Bear, Tarrant, Dallas. So you can go through here and see any county you'd like, the current posting, and its comparison to last month. So for example, if we look at Harris, there was 531 postings in Harris County. That's up 165 from last month. So there's a lot of auctions going on in Harris. We were surprised to see that Bear only had 147. That was down 71 from last month. But they've been clocking about 80 sales a month. So definitely don't sleep on Bear County, the San Antonio area. Other spots of interest include Travis County. We're at 44 postings there. That's down just 2 from last month. Tarrant as well is about on par, 46. That's up 3 from last month. So we're about on par across the state. That's an easy way to check out where we are. I want to take an opportunity really quick to also show you guys a dabble into Rottie Insights. We have a YouTube video on our YouTube, Rottie's Foreclosure Listing Service, that 14 minutes, Aaron overviews all about this new service. That it's an all-inclusive service that provides title, drive pictures, drive notes, comparable analysis of properties. So it helps you. You can subscribe to this, get information for every property in a county, and it helps you to not have to do all this information on your own, not have to drive to each property, not have to do all the title orders. And we essentially, when you look at any of these properties, this is the Travis list for last month. I just pulled up a random property, 2019 Singing Brook. Our title has a green, a yellow, or a red. The green shows that it's good, it's clear. This is a refinance first deed of trust going to sale with no other liens found. So you know that you're confident to bid on this. If it was a yellow, then it might say there are some taxes that might be paid off or some other liens you might have to consider. If it's red, that's us considering that it's not a good thing to bid on. And so right away, there's that title note there. Under pictures, you have all these great pictures with notes down here about it. So the exterior rock here says that the roof seems in good condition. And there's all these pictures of the roof. Sometimes we get inside too. There's some really cool ones where you see that. But we generally have 10, 20 pictures per property. And this is an easy way for you to get to see what's going on in those properties, build up your construction estimates without having to go there yourself. So if you're interested in that, just hit the chat box in the lower right-hand corner of our website, and Jack and I will help you check that out. So I'm just going to stop sharing my screen there. I just wanted to show you people that really quickly so they can see that we are on par with last month, and there's a lot of sales still happening.
So, and then a lot of people will want to know, is my county complete? There's just another map there that'll show you that as well. So if you see, there's only 147 in Bear, you may have to also check to see if it's complete for the month. And it is right now. There were only 147, but it's something that you'll want to know too.
And that map is right here under pre-foreclosure research status. And you can see there's only one county not complete. That's because Wise County is perpetually behind the county clerks. I've been calling them every day. They keep saying, we'll have it tomorrow, we'll have it tomorrow. And it's just not one of those spots that we're able to necessarily get to every month yet in person. But we do plan on that. So this map shows you if they're green, it's complete, it's done. If it's red, it's still in progress, okay?
Great.
So very good thing to point out, Jack.
Great, yeah. And if you watch that 14-minute video on Insights, just know that since then we no longer do the we no longer give you what we think it's worth or tell you what the rehab analysis should be on it. It's just going to be the photos and the title with the notes from the driver as well. So we tested that out, and it was just too much to do. But I can train you on how to do that as well. So
yes, sir. You bet. Well, you want to jump into those top 10 questions?
Let's do it.
I think there's that we might go back and forth on. But let's start with the number one question you get on the chats from new people trying to subscribe, new people getting into the business, is just how do foreclosures work?
Okay, cool. So this is a state-specific question, so we'll talk about it just in Texas because that is where we are based. But in Texas, it is a non-judicial state, so that means when you sign up, you say, hey, I want to buy this house, and the seller says, great, I need $300,000. You say, I don't have $300,000, but you go to the bank and you get to borrow it. Then you get what's called a promissory note, and you get a deed of trust. Now, on this deed of trust, it says, if I stop making these payments, you can sell my home. We're going to appoint a trustee that can sell my home to the highest bidder, and that will satisfy. I mean, if it satisfies the loan, if it doesn't, then that's another story. But we don't have to go to court. So that's what a foreclosure is someone stopped making their payments, and there's a third-party trustee that can walk up to the courthouse on the first Tuesday of the month, and they can sell that property to the highest bidder or back to the bank, and then it's no longer the possession of the homeowner anymore. So
that's right. We are a non-judicial state, so it's dictated by the contract of their deed of trust. The only real stipulation there is that they have to notify the borrower 21 days in advance, and that's where we come in with our lists, right? And we have our list finalized 20 days before the auction so that you guys have 3 weeks to do your due diligence and research. We also have early postings as far as 2, 3, 4 months ahead. Whenever they go up on the website, whenever they go up at the county clerk, we have them on our site almost immediately.
Yeah. And why would you want it ahead of time? Well, there's 2 reasons. One is so you can scout out the property before the auction. You can't go in these properties, but you can drive by them. You can go knock on the door if you feel comfortable with doing that. You can do a CMA, figure out what it's worth. You can run title and all that stuff. Or you can even talk to the homeowner and see if they'll sell it to you. They can still sell you the home before the auction. So if you get the list the day of the auction, it doesn't do you too much good because you can't A, do your research, or B, try to buy the home before the sale. So
yeah, we give out a free sample of the list the day of auction, and that's just to help people guide along at the auction and be familiar with the process. But investors really need that information 3 weeks beforehand.
Yeah. So if you want to buy homes at foreclosure, you don't have to do anything. You just have to show up. There's no registration required. You just walk up to the courthouse. If you have the most money when they say sold, you win the property. It's really cool. There's people that do it every first Tuesday of the month. So
that's right. And that jumps into our third question about, well, I guess number 2 was, what is our experience with foreclosures? And you and I have both been doing this business for quite some time. I mean, I got involved in 2007 after the subprime crash. I was a lender before that. I was an underwriter for New Century Mortgage before that, and pivoted to foreclosures afterwards, and have not missed a Travis County auction pretty much, except for a vacation here or there, in 14 years. And Jack, you were involved in all kinds of real estate ventures before coming on with Rottie, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, people ask, well, why should I listen to you? What do you know about it? And I've read some books on it. I've been to quite a few auctions before. I'm a realtor and learned through that method as well. So been to lots of county courthouses and been to their sale. And when I started going, I just kind of realized, hey, these are my people. These are the people. They just hang out. They talk about politics. They talk about God. They talk about sports. They just hang out and they just talk. And then every once in a while a sale happens. And it's just one of the best places to be on a Tuesday morning, just hanging out with like-minded people. So
it's a very exciting time. And there's a lot of like-minded people. The conversations take some interesting turns. It's a cool place to hang out. Most definitely.
Great.
And our company has been around since 1963. So as far as getting your pre-foreclosure lists, we're the only ones with the complete list. So definitely contact us if you're not getting that complete list somewhere else.
Great.
So number 3 was, how do you bring checks to the auction? How do they arrange payment?
Yeah, that's most people want to know, can I come back with money later? And also, can I put down a deposit or something like that? And how do I know what to make the check out for? So just to give you a blanket statement, that's going to be the easiest thing for you to remember is you want to bring your cashier's checks. You can also bring cash, but sometimes they charge you extra for that. Cashier's checks to the auction, and you make your cashier's checks look like a wallet. So inside you have your hundreds, your few $100,000 checks made out to yourself or to your entity. And if you're making out to your entity, make sure that you bring a power or something that shows that you can sign on behalf of that entity. You got your hundreds, your 50s, your 20s, your 10s, your 5s. You can even do some ones if you want to. You can overbid, you just can't underbid. So if you win it for $98,000, you can give them a $100,000 check. Just can't give them a $90,000 check. So if you give them 100, they'll mail you back $2,000 in the mail. It'll take a couple weeks. The reason why you want to get it so close to the number is, say you only bring one check for 200,000, you thought it was going to go for 150, and they sell it for 97. Well, now you're waiting for a $103,000 check in the mail for 2 weeks. When another property comes up that you've also researched that sells for 80,000, you could have bought that if you had 2 checks, one for each, 100,000 each. And then you missed out, and you're waiting for money that you can't use for at least 2 weeks. So
that's right. Having those different denominations is very helpful, and it's not that much of an extra step at the bank to get them in different denominations. Mm-hmm. And people sometimes ask, is it safe to bring those cashier's checks? And the thing is, no one else can be able to use them. No one else can be able to sign them over. And if you ever did lose them, you can always just call your bank and cancel the check. Mm-hmm. So it is very safe to have them made out into your own entity's name.
Great.
So number 4's top question is, how is Rotties different than our competition, or doing it ourselves, going to the courthouse and pulling postings and doing the research and making the list themselves? And I think we can both answer that, definitely.
Go ahead, Paul.
So, I'm the head of research. I do all the data across the state. And what makes us different is that, let's say if you wanted to go to just Travis County this month and you wanted to make your own list. There were 44 postings, right? So you have to take all 44 postings, get that information off the posting itself, make sure you don't miss any, because I actually found 2 postings that were not filed as foreclosure notices. That's just that like insider information you only know to look for if you've been doing this for as long as we have. So let's say you somehow did get all 44. You want to get all that information out. You want to cross-reference it with the deed of trust information. And then you want to correlate that with the county appraisal district's values, the information on the property, the year it was built, make sure the legal descriptions match up, make sure the owners match up, all those kinds of things. We collate all that into one sheet that you can get in Excel format to manipulate however you like, or in PDF format. We also have our own algorithms and formulas to estimate your equity, to estimate the loan balance left. And then we do additional services on top of that, where after that 20 days when we finalize the list, I go in almost every day and do live updates of a property. So that's us checking with trustees, with banks, with contacts to see if a property has been canceled, if a scheduled bid is available, or if it's just still pending. If there's no update on that, that means we don't have any more information. But that helps you know, let's say you're researching a property like Jack was saying, you had 2 properties you're interested in. If you know that one of them is canceled, now you're not going to hold off and wait for that property. You're going to bid on the other one. Or let's say you're bidding in 3 counties. Now you know maybe your property is in county A or canceled, so you're going to go to county B instead. Those are very helpful for deciding where you're going to go and where you're going to spend your money on the day of auction.
So that's a good comparison of what it would be from us versus doing it yourself. But Paul, what about those other companies out there? They have national lists for less than just the price of one of our counties. I mean, what would you say about our differences between us and them?
Sure. So those other national companies, they're basically buying that data from someone else, and they're getting it generally very late. So sometimes you're getting the list after the auction's already occurred. Or if you are getting it, a week before auction, 2 weeks before auction, you're generally only getting 60, 70% of the list.
Right.
And in this business, you want to have 100% of that list. You want 100% accuracy, because that 1 or 2, 10, 20, 30 missed properties can make all the difference when you're at auction bidding. And that property comes up and it's not on your list. That's a huge problem, right?
Yeah.
So we're the only one that gets every property in every list in every county.
Every month. And if they're not pulling it from somebody else, they're using computer programs to scrape the county websites, and that works pretty good for the ones that were scanned in correctly and they look okay and every information is on there. But not every deed of trust is the same. Some of them hit the scanner wrong and go in. Some of them are piled together. We have to go in person to make sure that everything is there. And for all those reasons, they're not able to get everything like someone hand mining it is to do.
Right. There's some information you can scrape in real estate, and foreclosure postings move so quickly, it's not something you can just scrape digitally. So we're, like Jack said, we are hand mining each and every one of those postings.
Yep.
So our fifth top question is, how do you know if title is clean?
So you can go with somebody else if you want, 70% of the postings. If that's okay, if that's enough, then you can go with somebody else.
Yeah,
right?
that exactly. We have 100% of them.
So let's talk about some of our competitors. They say they're doing a title search with the postings, and they're giving you everything, including the running title on the property. Paul, what roughly are they doing when they do that? Are they doing a full title search, and how do you get a full title search done, and why is that important?
I would not think that the lists that I've seen that claim that, I'm not seeing complete title searches on there. I'm not seeing all the judgments, HOAs, list pendings, pending lawsuits.
Yeah.
We do complete title searches at rottietitle.com, and you can go there and get properties individually for various rates, depending if you want a 1-day turnaround or a 3-day turnaround. And we do a complete title search in which we look at the entire deed history, making sure that you are bidding on a first lien, making sure there's no other liens that are superior to it. We check for judgments, taxes, list pendings, any kind of things, HOAs, UCC filings that might affect that property. And then we're going to green light, yellow light, or red light that property for you, like I mentioned briefly in Insights. Green means it's totally clear, it's a first lien, you're good to go. Yellow is going to have some other fees that might be associated, such as property taxes. So you want to build that into your maximum bid. And that's very important to know, because if you're at that cap in your bid and you didn't realize there's another $20,000 in fees, perhaps that's going to change your entire margin, right? And then if it's red, then it's probably a second lien, or there's something so wrong with it. There's judgment so high on it, or first liens that are so high in it that you don't want to even touch that property. So they can get that at rottietitle.com, or they can email me directly at Paul, Paul, at flsonline.com. And I'd be happy to quote you on your titles and get that back to you. Most people do a 24-hour turnaround or a 3-day turnaround. And you want to get that in, I suggest a week before auction, because, Thursday, Friday, we're busy doing our last preparations for auction, and there might not be time to get that in. So get those title orders in a week before.
Yeah, and if you're in one of 7 counties, you can get all the titles for the whole county done with Rottie Insights, which is something you pick up at prophawk.com. We'll give it a yellow, red, or green status, and red is going to mean it's not first lien, or it's going to have such a common name that we could not clear it.
That's right.
Look out.
So our sixth top question was, do you have mentoring? Does Rotties FLS do mentoring?
We don't have mentoring right now. The closest thing we have is if you want to, there's 2 ways of doing it. One is if you want to use our financing. We have financing for the auction. We're gonna also drive those properties because we have some skin in the game. We're also going to kind of look over your shoulder and do title as well. So it's the closest thing we have to mentoring. It is a 3 points, 13% interest loan. So 3-point origination, 13% interest, 80-20 loan, meaning that we put in 80%, you put in 20%. So it's a hard money loan, but we'll be watching it every step of the way, making sure that everything goes okay with that, since we have something in there. Aside from that, some of our members are spending $800 to $1,000 a month, and we do offer a couple hours of coaching with Curtis Roddy if they are spending that much per month. And you can get there by buying multiple counties, buying the insights and the summit pretty easily. Get to $1,000 a month. So if you're doing that, we will help you out as well.
That's right. And that financing, that ties into our bidding services as well. If we're doing financing for you, we're going to be with you every step away in that property. We also do bidding services in all of our counties across wherever we have auction teams, and we're open to bidding anywhere. So if you're a major investor in Travis County and you want to bid in Hayes County, but you can't be in two places at once, you can work with us. We'll set up the person to bid for you. We'll receive your cashier's checks if you're using your own money, or if we're doing financing, we'll work out that 80-20 loan with you, so you can be in multiple places at once on auction day.
Great. Yeah. And if you want that financing or the bidding services, put our emails in the chat. There's nothing online about how to order that stuff, so you just have to come to us directly. That's
all case by case. So you want to talk to us in the chat or reach out to us directly.
Yeah.
So if you already kind of answered number 7, can you get inside the properties? Sometimes we can get inside in our drive pictures.
Right.
But, we don't necessarily recommend that individuals try to get inside of properties.
No.
Like you said, knocking on doors, if they're brave enough, can be a way to get some more insight.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it is Texas, so be careful.
Don't go inside the properties don't go inside the properties.
Most definitely. Lots of liability there. So number 8, is buying a foreclosure worth it financially?
That's I'm getting that question a lot lately, because I say, oh, you can't go in the properties, and you gotta make sure the title's clean. They're like, okay, well, I don't get a title report, and I can't get inside this property, so who knows what's going to be in it. So why am I doing that? And normally the answer is because they're selling for pennies on the dollar, and so that's going to help your thing. But in most counties right now, they're selling pretty dang close to retail. So what I would tell you is right now it is difficult. This is being filmed a year after COVID started. There's still a moratorium on foreclosures. There's still very few properties, and they are still going very high. If you've got a county where there's a lot of foreclosures happening right now, like Bear County, you might be able to find a deal. If you've got a county where there's a lot of competition, like Collin County, it's going to be tough if your model is not buy and hold. If you're trying to buy 70 cents on the dollar to flip, it is going to be very difficult. I want you to kind of be aware of that right now. But the thing about this is a marathon, not a sprint. So if you're just doing this for the next couple months and you only want to flip, you may be able to find a deal, just go straight to the homeowner. But if you go to the auction, things are going very high unless you find something that, I don't know, maybe sells at 345, like right after everybody leaves, or you get really, really lucky. But all that risk is supposed to lead to a lot of financial reward that you're taking on. And it is difficult right now. That being said, by the end of this year, there should be a ton of foreclosures and hopefully a lot more opportunity. So if you get in now and you're learning it now, by the time that you're actually pulling the trigger and buying properties, yeah, you may be able to do it. But today it is tough to do.
Even with those higher sale prices at auction, when you compare that to what's going on in the market,
yeah,
properties are selling 20, 30, 40% over asking price.
Yeah.
They're listing and selling like that. So
yeah, you can't.
Auctions are one of the few places you can still get a place under retail or at retail.
Yeah, for sure.
And like Jack said, there's a learning curve to all this, and you want to get in now so that when the floodgates do open, that you're ready and prepared for that. Because we're expecting when that floodgates open for the postings to skyrocket for 2-3 months and then kind of rise again. That's right.
It's a 4 to 6 month process though to learn it. So that's what we tell people. So if you get in now, you should be ready to go by the time it takes off. So yeah.
That's right. So another question was, do you have any classes? I think we have a few answers for that.
Yeah, Rotties used to offer in-person classes, and that was a big deal for a lot of people, and it helped a lot of people out. We don't have any classes right now. We have 2 ways that people can learn through our videos on Facebook and YouTube, which this is being posted to, and then you can also learn by going to resources and then Video Vault. There's a 2-day lessons in there. There's 2 free videos. The rest of them all together combined cost $500. If you watch all those videos together, you will be completely ready for the courthouse, except for just some experience points that you'll need. No in-person classes right now, and I did stop doing that even before COVID. So for those of you that remember those classes, we don't anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah, even though we're not doing our in-person classes, we do have a ton of resources, like Jack said. Our Video Vault right now has 2 free hour classes. One is the 5 Steps to Foreclosure Blueprint with Aaron Amuchastegui and Curtis Roddy. And one is an hour-long intro of how to do title reviews with Brian Holland. So those are extremely great resources. And then there's our YouTube itself. Our YouTube has tons of videos on here. And you can even search for what you're looking for, So definitely use those, and use our Facebook's videos as well, right here under videos.
Yeah, and if you are going to a class, somebody asked us the other day. There we are. Somebody asked us the other day to speak to their RIA. So we'll do a RIA meetup. A lot of them are on Zoom. We'll go to those and we'll talk to your group about foreclosures if you like. But we don't have any organized classes right now. So
yes, sir. But still, take advantage of all these extra resources we're giving out for free. So I stopped sharing. Good. And last big question was right of redemption. Is there a right of redemption on non-judicial foreclosure sales?
So this is going to be specific to Texas again. So if you're listening to this in another state, then just forget this. But in Texas, if you're buying a first lien deed of trust at a trustee sale, there's no right of redemption. So you're going to own it as soon as they say yes. Now, if you're buying a sheriff's list, meaning a tax foreclosure property, and those are going to be sold by someone with a gun and a badge, it'll look very different. It's usually in a different part of the courthouse or in a different location. We also have that list as well, but those do have a right of redemption. And if you buy an HOA lien from the trustee sale, those do have a right of redemption. So and I don't fully understand HOA liens all the way. I know Paul doesn't at this point either. Most people at the auction don't understand. There's only like 2 people that bid on the HOA liens when I've been there, and they really know what they're doing. So if you're going to bid on an HOA lien at a trustee sale, just have a conversation with an attorney first, or really know what you're doing before you do that. Otherwise, all the other properties, buy them. You're going to own them as soon as they say sold, and you can go move in, change the curtains, or whatever you want to do.
That's right. Just make sure they do that title search so they know they're getting the first lien. So I think those are some great questions. Do you have anything you want to wrap up before we just talk about how auctions on Tuesday, June 1st?
Yeah, no, I get these questions almost every day, so I hope that they're going to be helpful for people who are just starting out, and I hope this video finds you, and that and then this helps you. It's an awesome way to make some long-term wealth. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. There are several things that could go wrong, so you really have to know your stuff, and you really have to be patient for it to start working. But Aaron Amuchastegui, who's the CEO of this company, was just sharing this morning, 7 years ago, he came to Texas for the first time, and he started buying foreclosures. And now he has, I think, 400 doors. It didn't happen overnight, so it took a while. So keep it up.
There's definitely a lot of opportunity. So our next auction, this was really great, Jack. Thanks for sitting down and answering these top 10 questions for people.
Thank you, Paul.
The next one is June 1st, Tuesday, Super Tuesday. Look for the people in the red Rottie shirts. We're at all of our major counties. Look for our red tables. Ask us questions. Get to know us. We'll help you find the trustees you're looking for. We'll help you find the properties you're looking for so you don't miss them. And ask us any questions about the entire process, because your county rep is your expert in that county. All right.
And Paul, why don't we just end it by showing them how to access their list, since that just changed. And if they're watching this, maybe they could. And you want me to share, or do you got it?
I got it.
Okay.
Ready to go.
So we did streamline accessing the list. So this is how you do it. Start by logging in. And then once you're logged in, it's going to look a little different than it did before. You're going to go into products here. And then you got some pop-ups. You should read them, but if you don't want to read them, then just X them out. But you do need to X out these pop-ups to move forward. So pre-foreclosure auction properties, you click on that. You have a map here. That's important to see. People are downloading the map, downloading the list a day early. They're like, Jack, I know all the properties. Well, we make you click out of a map now so that you can see if you're ready to go. And then you're right there. Access your properties now. If your pre-foreclosure list is the one you need, you can do number 1 or number 2. Number 1 is one I recommend. You click on number 1.
Right, because number 2 is going to sort by city and street in the PDF. The Excel is an Excel, so you can manipulate it however you like. But I really do recommend, like Jack said, clicking number 1, filter and search. This is our classic search.
Yep. And then it's going to just show the counties that you're subscribed to. Paul's big time guy, so he's got all the counties, but he's just going to pick Bexar County. Right there where it says select month, you actually get the option now to select, he's got some postings for July you could look at if he wants to, but he's only going to look at June. That's what it defaults to. Hit search, hit view all, and there's your 147 records right there. You can download that as a PDF right there where it says convert your report format, or Excel right next to it. So
that's right. I really recommend they click the drop down and click sort by ID and save that as your PDF. That way it's sorted sequentially, 1, 2, 3, etc. So that when our team's calling out the number, you're not scrambling for the number. You can just look in the left-hand column.
Right.
And you click that PDF button, it's going to save right here into your computer. So you can save that hard copy. You can click Excel and save that hard copy as well.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sticking with us today, everybody. And again, if you have questions, just go to our website. There's a chat in the lower right-hand corner of the website. And if you need to email us, you have our emails there, Paul and Jack at flsonline.com. If you go to the auction and you don't know what to do, look for somebody wearing a shirt like Paul's or a sweatshirt or a jacket. It's going to be a local expert there, and they're going to be able to answer your questions. I think that's about it. But yeah, appreciate you guys coming on this webinar with us, and we'll talk to you soon.
See you Tuesday, guys.